answers are inside. Yeah, I am a 21st century superhuman. Now is the time. Come on everyone, let's celebrate. We are the children of the sun. I can see you when I look into your eyes. We are the same, we are light, yeah, we are one. Here now, hear my ancient prayer and sing along. We are awakening as one. And we can make a difference. Yeah, we can be the change it takes to make the world.
Hi there, I'm Carrie Ellis, author of 21st Century Superhuman. This is our 21st Century show, and today I have with me Elian. And your last name, how do you pronounce it, Elian? Chalendu.
Chalendu, yeah, Chalendu.
Yes,
It's
Chalendu.
actually an Indian name. I gave myself. Chalendu means the reflection of the moon in the water.
Oh, beautiful. And I met you actually in Bacalar, Mexico, and we did water practices and kind of therapy in the beautiful Lake of Seven Colors down there, this really magical world where a lot of people have come together from around the world in the last couple of years, sharing different water processes and we'll call them therapies, but a lot of people don't like to call it that, but new forms of healing ourselves, of easing into our bodies, of becoming more comfortable with the flow of our lives, and this really beautiful activity that you do. So, so excited to have you here today. And when I and several friends spent time with you down there, we took a lot of pictures of the work that you do. And we had discussed it'd be really fun to share this with people because this is really a new emerging art, wouldn't you say? It's a new, something of the future that's coming to us, that's being activated around the globe. So why don't you tell us a little bit about all of this flow stuff that you do and how you got into it, what it means, you know, what you'd like people to get in touch with as far as reconnecting with the flow of their own being.
Yeah. Well, to start with the biggest, that's what comes to me right away. It's in a way, in our evolution, we came from the water, made all our life here on Earth, which represents very much this duality of there's the sky up there and there's the Earth, and everything is kind of divided in this dual opposition modality. And now, in a way, we are returning into the waters. We went through all this process. We went through an awakening that has happened to a ripening, and now we, as awakened beings, turn into the water and bring that awareness to the waters. And yeah, that's what's happening in a way.
Yes, and I don't want to go down this path because I know we could talk for hours here probably, but I know you also have strong spiritual practices. You've traveled the world. There's a great deal that you've integrated from other cultures into this work that you're doing, correct?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And well, the essence of all that I learned in that, really I put in my work.
Yes.
Being in the body. So it's very much about our essence, finding this form, this physical form that we have, and expressing it in that fluid creation of a new world that we're all in. And the medium for that is movement to me, because
yes,
like everything comes from movement.
Yes.
Everything comes from spiraling, from fluidity. How this whole body has been formed, this whole time in the womb, that is maybe very far away from our mind, like who remembers what you were doing when you were in the womb, but it is very, very much in our body. It is like
Yes.
the source of our body.
Mm.
And that is like a world where you kind of swirl and flow, and there are these waves going on, and this inner movements, and this spiral that I'm feeling. And all that is what I bring people back into with
That's
this.
beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we're living in this world that's kind of harsh, kind of stressful. You know, people get sort of frozen up and disconnected from their bodies. Yeah. And you and I were even talking earlier about people like us who've begun to flow in the water. Our lives just take on more of a flow. We're more willing to just say, you know, we meet up when we meet up. We very beautiful, creative, generative aspects of the being begin to come forward by that connecting in the physical. And the body is what we get to walk around in while we're here. So I think that integrating of spirit, our heart, our creativity with the flow and movement of the body. So
we got to learn how these ways of natural flow, of organic flow, how they really work.
Yes.
And you know, and it is so different from the ways we're used to. Like our society has become so rigid.
Yes.
It's reflected also in like everything is in squares, you know, everything is in concrete. Everything is, you know, it's so tied in. And so are our bodies. So the bodies are tight, the bodies are tense, everybody is in this restricted mode, you know, and that's regarded as normal.
Yes.
But it's not normal at all. It's not natural.
We sit in chairs, sit in cars, go in houses. You know, people that are waking up are getting out and walking on the earth and, you know, flowing a little bit more. But I think you've really mastered this, and you have a beautiful way of expressing it and sharing it. I know you also wrote a book or several books, and the title of your main book.
I have to admit, but one is in English. The main one about this work is actually.
And what is that called?
Being in the Body, Metaphysics of the Physical, and its Revelation in Somatic Experience.
Wow.
So it's kind of through this sensation in your body, you do get insights. Like the body is full of codes, the body is full of knowing. And when you look down, like that is also something, a lot of spiritual work is concerned about ascending. So I'm much more drawn into the descending, which means like going into the deep, into the body, into our origins. Yes. And harvesting the wisdom from there.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So can people get your book at your website?
Yes, that's on free download. Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful.
Under this show is the link. And you can have, it's not the newest version on free download. You can write me an email. You can get a reviewed version. But
and what is your website?
It's beinginthebody.com.
Beinginthebody.com. And we're going to put all the information on how people can contact you and your website under this video. So if someone is trying to find you or your book, further information, we'll have all that underneath.
Yes.
So what else would you like to share with us before we look at these amazing pictures?
Yeah, maybe a bit more about like what this movement work is like. So
and you also come from a background in creative dance, right?
Movement therapy, dance therapy, contact improv. And a lot of different bodywork styles. Actually, I really spent a lot of years being open to everything, you know, and absorbing everything. that I can in information.
And so this is your art you kind of brought forward out of all of that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
kind of woke up inside of you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Like this fluid work is the essence to me. Mm. And it is very much overlooked. Like our body is basically made of water. Like we're 70%, 80% water. And still we are in almost an obsession, I call it, to see only the structure, you know? So even holistic movement approaches like yoga and many, many other movement things that are great on themselves, but they are very much concerned with the muscles and bones and maybe the nervous connections between that. So they're very much into the structure. And what much more matters to me is the fluid that moves within those structures. That is to me what's really interesting. And what I do with people is, first of all, bring them into a deeper mode where you can access this energy, kind of going back into this space similar to when you're in the womb, you know, when you're it has all to do with something very original. Like once you tap into it, you have the feeling, okay, I know this. I've been in that before. And so the movements are organic and they come from within, and they are this fluid pulsations that are actually happening in the body when you just sit and don't do anything. Inside the body, there's always movement. It's the blood flow. There's all processes basically work through fluids. You know, everything, even our thinking, is actually fluid. The brain is 90% water, so our thoughts, a thought to come together, is physically, it's basically a fluid process. And so this work is about dropping into this and letting the movement emerge from there. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful explanation. And that deepness, I mean, I know you and I visited a little bit about children and about dogs, the serpent, all these different, levels of being that haven't gotten the structure kind of put over them, and they just move really freely in the body.
Yes,
yes.
And the younger the children, the more they're into that, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So, and I think you're really right. You know, we do these structured things, like yoga is a wonderful art, but it's also very structured. Mm-hmm. And I learned from working with you that there's just a natural movement to the body that isn't so tied in to a linear kind of, way.
Now I do this, now I do this, now I do this. Now it's more like it's happening.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I would think that massage therapists or other people who are doing body work might get inspired by some of what you're doing and see things that they could integrate into their practice, even beginning to get interested in the water therapy or the water movement. Yeah. Should we go ahead and look at some of the slides we have, some of the pictures of your work?
Yes, really, we can do that. Nice. And just one thing that comes to me, it mainly does something to your quality. You know?
Yes.
Even if you do give still a massage or a yoga class or whatever you do in that, it will have another quality because the fluids, the flow is awakened in that.
Nice. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to switch to screen sharing a second here. And we'll just go into view full screen. Yes. These are some great...
It was a very hot day, so I took my shirt off.
Yeah, and we can see how you're moving your muscles in your torso there.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So we'll kind of just scroll through these as if they're a moving scenery of you doing this, and feel free to just talk as you feel.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's just me doing this thing, like,
But you do have a real big sense of that control of that fluid moving through your body and moving in a fluid way.
yes.
I got that being around you and watching this.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it's all about, like, yeah. Some people say about my classes, it's basically always like this, oh, it is moving, this wave. But that is like the base of everything.
Yeah,
me.
it's like almost like there's a wave going through your body.
Exactly. It's a wave going through my body. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
And then we'll go into on the ground ones.
Yeah, on the ground ones. They're what you see a lot in this is like the unfolding. Like that is also one of the absolute primordial moves in every cell, in everything in life. It's kind of, it opens up and then it goes back and it contracts and it finds its own center again, and then it opens up again. So it's this, it's a fundamental principle of life, really, that experience through our bodies.
We're kind of losing you a second there. You still there, Elian?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. I think we lost you for a second, but I can just cut out a little glitch here, but I'll go ahead and continue.
Yeah, maybe I just stopped talking. And yeah, what it also does, you can also see it on this picture that at the end I kind of get into a silent pose, into a meditation pose. So it kind of has an aftermath, like you first go into movement and let all that flow and express. And then when you just sit silent, you'll feel that your body had kind of a shower from within, something like this,
Nice.
flowing in a different way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can really see the peace that's there from that, just going through that flow. And then you did some work with me and taught me you just instructed me, and I went through opening up to the flow. So we'll look at some of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and it also starts from the silence. Yeah, here what you see is that I kind of energetically support you.
Mm-hmm.
So while I was guiding you, I'm also there with my presence, with my hands, and kind of moving the energy,
Mm-hmm.
More in a supporting way. It's more that I'm with your body. It's not that I'm like wanting to do something with the energy or something. It's more like I'm supporting your body, being there with it, and allowing that unfolding to take place in you.
Yes. It's really a neat experience to do this too. Very different from other things.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And that's when the dogs came in.
Yeah, the dogs even love the energy they came in.
They love it. They really love it. Because it's their kind of, it's their world in a way.
Yes.
So they instinctively feel connected to that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, like animals really respond. Also, nature responds. Trees respond. And yeah, what to say about the water? The water. We all know that the water stores information.
Yes.
And when we are in that mode ourselves, in our bodies, we share that with the water.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We share that deeper information that we're connecting with the water in our body, so that
Exactly.
creates an amplification of our knowing, our understanding, our state of being.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I could really see people, I'm thinking of people that I know who are body workers who would probably love to start doing this with their clients. I can just, I have one friend in
Would be
particular.
really, really, really good for them, I tell you.
Yes.
Because to me, it's the most obvious that is most overlooked, you know?
Yes.
Like it gets that far that people work on healing the waters and, connecting with the water, and water stores information, and water filters, and I don't know. And they never talk about we are water. This body. They never talk about the body themselves. We
Yes.
are that fluid water, you know?
Yes.
And it's really, it's the predominant element in us, and it's the predominant element in on Earth, and
Yes.
the planet Earth, you know?
Yes.
And when we awaken to that, it just brings us something new, you know?
Yes.
It really brings us something new.
Yes. Yeah. So in Body Flow, you are addressing, we're going to look at pictures now of you doing various things in the water.
In the water,
However, you're really still talking about flowing in the body and connecting with the water inside the body. That's a lot of what this work is, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what it is. And when you bring it into the water, of course, it's then the master is all around you, you know?
Yes, beautiful.
Exactly. And the water's outside. Yes, right. Here we are in that Laguna of Bacalar that you mentioned.
Yes.
And we go on the water. We just dance. We let ourselves be danced by the water.
And by your own natural flow, too.
Yes. Yes.
These are beautiful. And just to say, you're both wearing, I know you're wearing earplugs and a nose plug, and Jen, our friend, is wearing a nose plug.
Yeah.
And I've done a video with Jen on her Janzu work.
Yes. The nose clip is important because it really opens up a whole other dimension. Like there are lots of things you cannot do before you have the nose clip, because you just, you're just restricted by the water coming in. So really nose clip is kind of a magic key into this world of the water. Hey? Oh, I don't hear you now. Carrie, I don't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Now I hear you, yes. Okay.
Let me try again. Sometimes Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sometimes
You got me? You heard what I said about the nose clip and everything?
I did, yes, we heard that. So,
cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So these are so beautiful, the way you guys are flowing here. And we'll just scroll through them a bit.
Yes.
And you call this water dance or water improv dance?
Yes, I just call it water dance. I mean, my work is called the Flux of Life, being in the body, and the water part is like the flux of life. So it's like the flux of life in water. And there are different methods now that give it different names, but it's not so much about the name, it's really about...
So there were a lot of people gathered in Bacalar this last year, and there would be even up to 20 people in the water doing this kind of dance together.
Yes, right? Yes. Even more sometimes, yeah. Well, we have this Liquid Flow Festival there in April, and it's a bit of a aquatic movement that is happening. Like water therapy really is getting big. More and more people know it, and more people experience also the miracles that can just happen by going into the water.
Yes.
So for me, it was a revelation, because you got to know I've been doing this inner fluid work for 15 years about, and have been always loving the water. But when I really started bringing this work into the element of water, there was like a whole new revelation.
Yes.
Almost like you enter a new planet there. You know?
Mm.
It's really like that. It's on Earth. Like you don't have to fly anywhere, you know. You're on this same planet, but you are on another planet.
Yes.
Gravity is different, and relating to other bodies is very different when you're underwater than when you're on land, you know.
Yes.
Obviously,
And we could call it a different dimension on this planet.
Yes, yes. It's
Yes.
really a different dimension, and
Beautiful.
it opens up a lot of knowledge in you, you know. Like
Yes.
a lot of, I mean, it's very, very healing for the body.
Yes.
It's a healing thing you can have, especially for everything to do with joints and movement problems. I mean, one dimension I've not been working with personally yet, but I see the most amazing potential for paralyzed people, you know.
Yes.
People, because they can't do anything. You say they can't move on Earth, but just bring them in the water, carry them in the water, and they'll be able to move again.
Yes.
Like,
I know that there was a friend down there who was taken into the water. He hadn't been in the water in 18 years after an accident that made him paralyzed, right? And it was really deepening for him to have that work.
It is amazing. And it's also, there's also some work being done with paralyzed people with the inner fluids, you know, with the Continuum is working with that, where they really get actual amazing results of people, because, you know, their nerve connection to the muscles, that's what's interrupted, but the fluids are still moving. This whole potential to revitalize the movement, even in a system that conventional therapy would say they cannot move anymore.
Right.
They can move, you know. So
beautiful.
It's amazing. It's most amazing. It's most amazing what the water opens up.
Yes. Well, let's take a look here. You were doing some, we'll call it water therapy with one of our friends who was with us. Should we look at those?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, so I basically just move her around, you know. It's not even much to me about the techniques. There are a lot of techniques to this, but just being with someone in the water, it can do such miracles, you know. I think you personally saw it with that friend of yours.
Yes.
We have another session.
Yes.
Just, you know, go in this almost first breath kind of experience, you know, of a very, very...
It's very nurturing.
Very nurturing, yeah.
It really touches that place deep inside that is...
Yes, yes. And I'm often like a mother to that child that I'm carrying around, and it happens so much by itself, you know. It's, you mentioned that we don't like to even call it therapy, because I don't go there with an intention to do something or to fix something in that person. I just enjoy being in the water, you know, with her.
Yes.
And something unfolds, you know. Yeah. Really, yeah, that's...
So this is amazing. It's just really incredible work. And what would you like to have people do? What would be your wish for them as far as bringing this into their lives and their world? And I know that you do teach some, and you do some personal sessions. You've even done personal sessions with people from a distance through Skype or whatever. So do you want to share about that a little bit? And then, how would people what do you do? And then how would people integrate this into their lives?
Okay. Yeah, what I do is individual sessions are they are really individual. I never know what's going to happen in a session. So it can be with touch or coming from the touch, so that I like connect with that inner flow in the body and awaken that. Or it can be just through me guiding them into that. It can be on a more subtle meditative level, or it can be on a more expressive level. It can be like, waves can be big or waves can be very, very subtle. It's kind of both is, I leave it up to the flow. But with allowing that, and the experience is that always the right thing happens. So it's really an intelligence that moves in that, and I'm just in surrender with this intelligence.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yes. Like
And so you have all this artistry that you've blended within yourself of doing these practices and working with people for many years. So it comes out in a natural way of being with people, helping them re-access that connection to their own body and to their own
exactly.
soul. And sometimes it's nice to have a coach. It's nice to have someone to help facilitate that energy. I know when I was doing it, your support helped me know where to go next. How do I continue?
The presence, like
my
body is there with that knowing, and it transmits.
Yes.
So, that is the value also of personal presence. And to come back to the water, also that's a value also of the water.
Yes.
And, in terms of recommendations, really.
Yeah, we have about 10 more minutes. And so, how would people integrate this into their own lives? And then let's talk a little bit about Bacalar too, and the kind of gathering of all of us flowing through there in the winter. Because some people, I think I probably will bring groups down there. I'll invite groups to come and to be able to access you and Jen and Alex and we have a whole community now that is. It seems to be one of the hubs where this is emerging around the world in a very beautiful.
It is. It is. There's no stable structure there yet, and it's not only there. It's also in Mexico. It's also Mazunte on the other side in the Pacific.
So what we're talking about, Bacalar, is the southern Yucatan Peninsula. So that's where that is.
Yeah. I mean, this place is very amazing because this laguna is very special. There are these so-called stromatolites.
Stromatolites, yes.
Yeah, stromatolites. We were
one of the oldest known forms of life on the earth, and they build rocks that are kind of like coral, but they're living rock layers. And we figured out.
Actually, they really are. Through them, all of life emerged.
That's amazing.
In the water, they were like the first bacteria formations that created the oxygen so plants could even start growing, and all of life that off from there. So
you would think that they have like even some coding in them that I think we get from being in that water.
They do really. I learned to them. I would like embrace them and go into a connection with them, and they would kind of I would go in a very deep primordial place and absorb this information in my own system. So that's what makes this lagoon very particular.
Yes.
But apart from that, there are many waters, and tropical waters are very good also because of the warmth.
Right.
I mean, to really go into that, you need a certain temperature. I mean, right now I'm in Canada again here, and this is very different. Lakes are it's still beautiful to jump into a lake, but when it's cold, it's a different energy, let's say.
Yes. What do you think about people doing this work in a wetsuit or a dry suit or that kind of gear?
Yeah, it's possible, but it actually inhibits the flow. It inhibits the flow. You also don't get the touch of the water. It does something to your skin, the water. It's kind of, you're being caressed all the time, the oxytocin gets stimulated, through caressing of the mother water around. So wetsuits are not, are a bit inhibited, but why not, if it helps you to be there. Also some use it also because of the hot sun in Mexico, when you're so much in the water, and then you get the hot sun that also can.
Well, and how about a swimming pool? How about a hot tub?
Yeah, everything is fine. Everything is fine. I like to just go in the bathtub. I mean, I'm known.
There you go. How easy is that?
What?
How easy is that? Everybody's got a bathtub.
Yeah, exactly. It's there, and you just go there and soak there for an hour or two, and can do some breathing with it, and it's really, it will.
And just going through that opening to the flow of your own body. Yeah.
Exactly. And that on land, just allow yourself to be with your body, give it time, and allow it to move. Allow it to do wave motions, allow it to do pulsing, spiraling, and all these things. It's kind of, just give yourself time. Your body will show you. Yeah.
Yes. Beautiful. Elian, I will encourage people to seek out your website and to look you up when they have a chance, to make contact if they feel it. I know you really carry this beautiful level of mastery within yourself, and it flows, and it is, those of us who enjoy your friendship enjoy that experience of that flow that you share. It really has created a wonderful presence, and that's why people go sit at the feet of a master, because they can duplicate that physiology and that mental syntax that you've created, so thank you so much for sharing with us, for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I really sense it's the time for a deep matrix that is actually within all of us.
Yes.
And it's the time for that to be birthed.
Yes.
And that is really what my work is about, is to bring this inner matrix out and let the spirals transform this world.
That's beautiful. And it is each one of us within ourselves that are transforming this world. So as we can transform within, we can get in touch with our own flow, our heart, our creativity, our greater joy. We become really an agent for change just by that energy.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, so many blessings. And I want to remind everybody to breathe, smile, listen to your heart, and
spiral.
Flow.
And spiral.
Yay.
And spiral.
Yay. Awesome. Thank you so much. Many blessings, much love.
Oh, blessings.
We shall see you all soon on the great rainbow of light.